coming up on this episode of The Director and the D.O.P, we find out what happens when advertising isn't really advertising but entertainment. We find out why I'm wearing a loud shirt, and our guest stumps us with a very tricky question. Hello and welcome to The Director and the D.O.P. Sitting across the chair from me, as always, is the one and only Liam Brennan, the king of the close-up, the oracle of Open Gate. How are you, bud?
Man, I look forward to this every week. I'm like, what's he going to do? What's he going to do today? I think that was a good one. I'm going to start putting in some work, and I'm going to start thinking of ones for you. But I've got nothing. No. So don't hold your breath.
Before, I like being the straight prepared one, and you just get to be the kind of
comic
reactive
relief
ones. It's great.
Yeah.
Hello, I am Ethan McLean. I am the directing part of the podcast.
You sure are, man.
Liam Brennan, the D.O.P, the director of photography. As my sister asked the other day, what is a D.O.P? Director of photography.
Yeah.
This is a podcast where we break down commercial filmmaking, and today, whilst we often talk about advertising, today we are going to go into a slightly different area, which is very exciting.
But it's still advertising.
It is still advertising.
Sneaky advertising.
But before we get into that, I want to have a bit of a discussion with you, because we were on set a couple of weeks ago, and you asked me the night before, we were on a road trip, and you asked me in the car, you said, hey, do you get your on-set clothes organised the night before and lay them out before you get up? And I said, I don't really. I can't, unless it's a super early call. But talk me through your process there.
Mate, I always do it.
Yeah.
I always lay out my clothes the night before, because otherwise I get up and I'm like, as soon as I get up on a shoot day, my brain is going a million miles an hour, and I'll end up choosing something fucked, and then I've got to wear it for the rest of the day, like just something that looks real weird, just real weird. And I don't know why some clothes that I've got in my cupboard look weird together, but they just do, or something that doesn't feel right. Like I'll try it on the night before, have a look in the mirror. I'm like, yep, this feels good, because I don't want to think about it ever again.
You look in the mirror, you try your on-set outfit on
100%.
Wow. Okay.
Because I know that I'm going to look in the mirror the next day, and if it looks weird, I'm going to be thinking about that on top of everything else.
What it will look like when you put a high-vis vest over the top?
No, it's like, honestly, man, like I heard that Steve Jobs used to wear just the same thing. I'm not saying I'm anything like Steve Jobs, because I'm not. But he used to wear the same thing every day, because he said that one less decision in his day is better.
Look, I'm a big believer when it comes to training or getting ready. I do get my clothes ready the night before, particularly if I'm at home. I get my clothes out. When I'm on the road and I'm staying in a motel and I've only got 3 outfits with me anyway that are all set related, I don't worry about it quite so much. But I understand the process for sure.
Yeah. Hey, when you're on the road, this is when you know you've spent too much budget on lenses, is you're staying in the motel, and it's got, instead of like a coffee pod machine, it's got the little packets of Bogan Dust coffee.
Yeah.
That's when I know I spent too much money on the lens package. And when it's the one that says...
When you're saying to the producer, we'll be shooting this on RE with some with some European glass, and then you rock up and you're like, cool, it's just...
You're like, damn it, it's the little packet that says espresso. Have you seen this one? We'll put an image up. That's when you know, I cooked the budget on this one.
So I'm a little bit weird when it comes to motels and hotels and stuff, because I've stayed in so many. I actually prefer staying in like a kind of old school motel with a little bit of weird character, as long as it's quiet, which isn't always. Do you
like it when it stinks like ciggies, even though it's been illegal to smoke in those rooms for 10 years?
My most disliked hotel ones is the ones in the middle, all those forgettable ones, and you walk in, you go, oh, it's exactly the same as every other room I've ever stayed in, and I'm not sure what floor I'm on, and I forget. So I don't mind hotels and motels with a little bit of quirk, as long as they're quiet, obviously.
I don't know, man. I think that's a dangerous thing to say on air. Because now
the producers be like, I listened to episode 15 where you said you wanted a shitty motel, so here you go.
Yeah. We got some real fucked places for you to stay this job.
Well, the reason I was asking about outfits before we kind of moved into motels is today's guest is known for being very fashionable. He was known for wearing quite kind of expressive shirts.
Yep.
Hence my choice today in a little bit more of an expressive
shirt. So he's not
shirt.
a DP. We know that because you're only allowed to wear black if you're a DP.
True. It's true. And so this man is someone I'm really close to. I worked very closely with for a number of years. Avid listeners to the podcast and those who know me very well might be starting to kind of pull the puzzle pieces together of who this guest may be.
I already know who it is, but I'm pretending I don't.
But I'm really excited to have him on. So let's get into it. Let's get into the breakdown and let's hear what Mr. Matthew Taylor has to say.
Let's go.
Welcome to the breakdown. And of course, today we have a guest, which we probably should have had on much earlier.
Yeah.
The one, the only Matthew Taylor. How are you?
Welcome, Matty.
Gentlemen, good to be here. Thank you for having me.
So good to have you here.
So Matt was just asking just before we hit record if we change outfits between our episodes, which we do. And the reason I have worn
because we record them each week, right? Like that's it.
Yeah. What do you mean block recording?
Why are you wearing the party shirt?
Because Matt was renowned for always wearing a Hawaii shirt, a Hawaiian shirt to all the shoots and everything. Yeah. And so Matt and I have worked on a number of really big, really stressful, big campaigns. You'd be overseas working with high-profile athletes. There's a lot going on. Everyone's really stressed. And Matt would sit you down before the shoot and say, so what are we wearing?
Well,
that's his number one question.
Every shirt's a party shirt if I'm wearing it, but I do appreciate it. So when I was doing longer form stuff, I would make Friday the party shirt day.
Right. Yeah. You got to mix it up, right?
Yeah, you got to mix it up.
Yeah.
I appreciate your party shirt, Ethan.
Yeah.
Good work.
So do I.
Fun?
I feel underdressed.
I've really built you up and everything, and now he's just wearing a black shirt.
Damn
it. More professional these days. So a little bit of context. Matt Taylor was the founder and owner of Milkmoney, a production company, and since then has moved into the world of creative development as an EP in long form and has just come off a project that we're going to talk about today.
And you guys know each other because Matt was your boss, right?
Well, originally I was an editor and Matt was a producer, and we used to work on TV shows together.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Matt hired me as a director. He gave me my start as a director.
Milkmoney. Yeah. You made the man. Yeah.
Which one? He made me or
I'm hoping to be a man one day.
This week's hot takes.
Making man.
We're straight into it.
So, Matt, what project have you chosen to speak about today?
I am going to talk about Rivals we did with Rexona.
Yeah. What was it about this project that you think makes it so unique and so important to talk about?
Ooh. For a start, it's branded entertainment, right? And this is a space that I've worked in for a long time. You've worked in for a long time, and I just think it's such an opportunity where if you get it right, it's a beautiful thing for everybody involved. And I think this one we got it right. For a number of different reasons, and work for everybody, right? Work for the brand, work for Octagon as an agency, work for the broadcasters. It can be a great thing when it all comes together.
All right, give us the 30-second elevator pitch. What is Rivals?
Oh, shit.
I didn't expect to go to editing you out so quickly. Because I should actually note, I also had a small role to play on this show as well. So Rivals is a 6-part TV show featuring some of Australia's top athletes representing their codes, battling it out to prove which Australian code is the best in sports.
Ethan, the job's done. You don't have to win it. It was great.
Nailed it,
but you don't have to pitch on it, man.
No, nailed it. Thank you.
So my first question is, it's probably a really big one.
Yeah, I am.
How does a show like this get made?
We knew Rexona wanted to do something big. Rexona had been losing a little bit of relevance, but simply because Rexona is built in sport, right? High-level ambassadorships, partnerships with big sporting brands and stuff. Did really well out of sport and was ingrained in sport. And what they were finding is that playbook wasn't quite working anymore, right? Different brands were coming up and using the same sort of strategy and stuff, doing the same sort of things they were doing. So it was like, what's next?
And so was the demand from the brand to make something new, or is Rexona already part of, is it Octagon? already a client, and it's like Octagon's job to sort of come up with ideas and pitch them to
Yep.
Rexona.
You're definitely a client, long-term client. I'm not sure they're retained. I'm not across that side of it.
Yeah.
But long-term relationship. Made a bunch of stuff over the years. We've made stuff with the All Blacks for them, David Pocock for Dub, whole bunch of different stuff through Octagon.
And so is it an idea that you guys come up with and then you have to pitch to Rexona and they, say yes or no?
It was more when we first got together, we were just understanding the need or discussing the need and discussing a bunch of options. So we didn't go to them with a fully formed show. So it was a collaborative project from the start. And in fact, that probably continued throughout it. Like every time some new person came in from the business or something, it was a collaborative process. I never felt there was a moment where we were pitching, if that makes sense. Like there was never a moment where we had to sit down in a big room. And I mean, there were many moments in rooms with a lot of people, but it was just a progression. And I think it just flowed.
The positive version of boiling the frog.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better. And you turn around, how did you get here?
I'm not sure who's the frog, but yes, it was actually, so it never felt like there was a sit down pitch moment for some reason. Looking back on it, it was just a progression.
And what was the, from the time that the idea comes around to the time you actually start shooting it?
Yep.
How big is that period?
Yeah, I was trying to remember the other day. It's a bit vague on when we sort of started kicking stuff around because a lot of it was just sort of, excited conversations more so than official meetings, because everyone was so passionate about it. Oh, look, I probably want to say 2 years, I reckon.
Yeah, that is incredibly long. Like from someone who's usually brought in 2 weeks before a project, that is a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually, yes, but not so much for a long-form TV show as well. So, but sometimes it felt like a long time. Sometimes it felt like not enough time, that's for sure.
What I think is really, really unique about Rivals, particularly in Australia, is there's obviously brand integration in TV shows. You've got your cooking shows, your kind of home renovation shows. There's always brands associated with that. There's a really, really strong brand presence. What I think is really interesting about Rivals is it's a brand created show. Like the brand itself was the creative engine behind this. Like it wasn't a tack on, like it wasn't a creative idea that then the brand was attached to. The whole creative idea was brand driven. In your role as the agency executive producer, you've got one foot in the kind of agency side, the brand side. You've definitely got a foot in the production side. How are you managing the entertainment and brand kind of balance throughout a show like this?
Yeah, good question. That is probably the key part of my role, I reckon. Once we sort of got the idea of the up on its feet, is then managing that, what we call the value exchange, right? And that's super important in this because just going back to your earlier point, it's a fundamentally different thing from product placement or branded content or whatever else. This is a completely different thing where the brand is so embedded through it. And I think throughout the process, you have to keep finding that balance. You do need to keep finding that balance because if you push it too far towards the brand, it's like making 8 half-hour TV commercials. No one's going to watch that. Yeah. And if you push it too far to the entertainment side, then the brand's not going to get any sort of return out of it. The ROI and it's going to be completely out of whack. So you've really got to find that balance, and that's when it's a beautiful thing. And if it's too far either way, it just doesn't work. So I think fundamentally that was my role, was just finding that balance the whole time.
And is that kind of, I should note, as in worked on the show, I actually saw Matt do a lot of his work the whole time. So I'm asking questions I know the answer to. Was that kind of like big picture, this needs to be the show, to also running around and making sure that the Woolworths fridge is in the right place in the show?
A bit of everything. Yeah, bit of everything. So probably heavier lifting before the shoot, to be honest. Like on the shoot, well, you saw me, I was hanging out in my shirt. So it was the lead into it. And I mean, the PPMs towards the end were 40 people in a room that went for 3 hours. There was that level of detail. So I think most of that heavy lifting was done before that. And then by the time, shoot happened and post, it wasn't that heavy a lift. It was really leading into it. The rest was just cruising.
One of the things I think that's incredible, cruising. I think I saw you on set. I think one of the things that's incredible about this show is it's one thing to have the idea of like, oh, let's make something that fans want to engage with. And when I say like it's quite lightly, obviously it's really huge that the brand came on board. I think what most people might not understand, unless they really understand Australian sport landscape, is the quality of the athletes that came on this show is just incredible. Like Australian captains, state of origin champions. Like I think there's like the amount of titles that this group had succeeded is incredible. What's it like working with a cohort of athletes of that high level? A, getting them on board, and then B, bringing them through that process.
Yeah.
And also to add to that, it's like, obviously their sports timelines take up a lot of the year as well. Yeah. So that would have been hard for shooting schedule too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there literally was a 4-day window when we could get them all together. And two of the Wallabies, Harry and Joe, had flown in directly from France. They didn't even go home. Basically, they came to Hamilton Island. So very complicated to bring that together. I cannot claim zero credit for that.
Yeah,
that was Emily and Soph at Octagon did an amazing job. But that was always the intention, is to have that level of talent. Without that level of talent, the whole idea falls apart, right? Yeah. Because we really wanted to pit code against code like it had never been done before. Like, which is the best footy code? You can't do that if you've got retired players, B grade players, reserves, etc. Had to be the best of the best. So that was a priority from day one, was if we're going to do this, it has to be that level of athlete, so it just doesn't work.
I'd love to know a little bit of context on the production partner and the production approach you took for this. Like, rather than, obviously this is more of a TV broadcast approach versus an advertising approach. Like, when you were kind of working with the production partner, what was it like kind of bringing that ad world and a TV production world together?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because we were almost trying to find a unicorn production company. And I mean, maybe somebody could ring up and tell me one, but finding that nexus of branded entertainment experience, working at that level with Unilever, who's a multinational big brand who has expectations on certain things, but also having the experience. So there's a bunch of those companies in Australia who make content, but then also having that long form experience of being able to make a cracking 8-part, half an hour TV show that's going on a big broadcast, and then having the sport experience as well. Like it's I'm not sure that Venn diagram really existed. So it was balancing different strengths of different partners when we were kind of going through that vetting process.
So who was the production company, and who were some of the kind of the key names associated with that?
Yep. So we worked with Rondi as the main production company. There were actually sort of 5 production streams, but Rondi was the TV production partner. So those guys are run by Ben Davies, who is the creator of Bondi Rescue, and then Liam Taylor is the EP we worked with, and Lauren, who works with them as well as Steph, who's their head of production. So those guys now make, as well as obviously their Bondi Rescue history, they make a bunch of sort of mainstream TV shows, big shows, from reality to narrative drama stuff as well.
Can you give context on the size of the crew?
So I think the TV production crew was 40-odd, low 40s, something like that. We had 155 people on the island. The other production teams there, we did stills. We had a couple of stills photographers doing out-of-home campaign stuff, as well as just general action, behind-the-scenes sort of stuff. We had Fox Sports brought their own social teams as well, because we were making a very different type of socials. And then we had Unilever had a social filming team as well. And then we had a bunch of content creators as well, a bunch of sort of sport influencers. So a lot of 5 production streams was a lot.
Is the production company also taking care of post on this, or is that being taken in-house?
Yeah. So Rondi was, start to finish on the TV series.
Yeah. Okay.
We did a footage share. Everybody could grab whoever's footage across it. So there was some sharing of footage between everybody. But they managed TV from shoot to post all the way through to delivery.
Interesting. Yeah, which I guess, from an outsider's perspective from that, I was very interested as to, like, does the shoot finish and then the ad agency has it and takes care of post?
No, not in the TV space. That'd be very unusual. Like it's quite a specialty. You make an 8-part, that amount of TV, it's a pretty specialised sort of thing. We would never take that on as an agency. Not at that level.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Was there any moment throughout the process when you were like, oh my goodness, this beast is way too big? Can we keep this thing on the rails and get this delivered?
Going back to the athletes, I wasn't on that side, but there was there were contracts being signed in the golf buggy from the airport. That was,
wow.
Or a particular contract. I think that probably was the bigger question, and not because of effort from anybody or because of the athletes themselves, just the realities of being an elite athlete in between end of a season, start of a pre-season, obligations overseas. There's just such a crazy matrix.
I remember there was a lot of insurance chat for about 24 hours there.
The insurance on this must just be the worst thing to have to deal with.
I use my credit card insurance. It's really good.
You had me for a second there, man. I was like, Amex, sweet. Did you, so is there an overarching director and an overarching DP for the whole series, or have you got directors and DPs on each of the, break-off crews?
Yeah, so there was, Rondi had a really good structure, right? A lot of experience in creating story, which is really good.
Okay.
So there was a director per se, but they're really just directing cameras for the sport action. And then driving the story side was an EP, and then under Lauren, who's the EP on set, was a lady called Sky, who actually Heath worked under, and she ran the story side. And from what I understand, she was very good on very organised systems. That flowed down to Heath, and then we had field producers, one with each team as well. So sort of almost embedded with the athletes, so they got to know them, etc.
That is the way that reality TV, sorry to use the term reality TV, but that is the way that it works in Australia. Is it's like story producers are more sort of directing each of the crews instead of like in ads and all that sort of stuff. This is for people at home more so, where you'd have directors on each of the things. It's like, I feel like in reality in Australia, the camera person or the DP of the unit is more like directs where the people should stand and all that sort of stuff and what should happen, and then the story producer actually is in charge of making sure you get the story right for the day. So a bit of a different way of working to what we're used to, I guess.
I asked the question about that. Was there a moment when you thought it might all go off the rails?
Do you have one?
No.
Do you remember one?
Well, me getting injured.
You got injured?
We tested the challenges, and I tore my quad.
Oh, man.
But we didn't tell the athletes that.
Did the credit card insurance cover that?
God,
I was hobbling.
Still paying off.
It's all healed now. It's fine. On the flip side, was there a moment when you're like, oh, my goodness, this has come together?
Oh, yeah. Can I remember? I do remember a moment. It was Benny and I on the island, basically, big hug sort of thing. I couldn't tell you exactly when that was, but I do recall there was a moment when we went, holy fuck. Here we are with 150 people, and it started with, him, me and John, So, yeah.
I think the number one thing that blew me away about this show was it's all well and good if everything's in order. Like, the show's great. There's a good concept. There's a really talented crew on board. The athletes have signed their contracts, right? That's all fine. What made it special was the athletes bought into this so much. They were like, they had the greatest time ever. They basically have all like formed a little WhatsApp group. They like go to each other's training and stuff together. They hung out together. They had the greatest time. And then they brought that energy and commitment into all of the challenges. Oh, sorry, not challenges, whatever the word was.
Rivals tests.
Rivals tests, into the rivals test. So yeah, that was like the athletes buying in with such, not just like goodwill and energy, but also commitment to the format was incredible.
There's so these are the greatest sports people of their codes at the moment. They are going to be super competitive.
Yeah.
So once you put a competition in front of them, right, like they're gonna eat that up. But like the buy-in is a good thing. Were you surprised by that, or did you know when you were choosing these people that they'd be good for that?
Not on that individual level, no. But there were certain things we put in place to try and encourage that for sure. So the fact we're on Hamilton Island, for example, was a very conscious decision. It would have been much easier to be in a stadium in Sydney or at the AIS in Canberra. They were a partner. Would have been easy to go down there because they were doing all the measurements. Would have been about a million times easier, but that was a conscious decision, is to get them to Hamilton Island and not put them in a stadium. So reasons for both of those. Hamilton Island, immediately they can relax. It feels different. Yeah. You get off the plane and you jump in a golf buggy. You're not an hour in a bus that feels like you're working sort of thing. So conscious decision around that. We knew they'd be able to hang out at night together. There's not many places you can eat or go out. They would spend a lot of time together straight away. And then not putting them in stadiums. So again, it didn't make them feel like they were going to work because they spend so much time in high performance centres, in gyms, in stadiums, of running on an oval. We wanted to break that as quickly as we could because what we found over many years of filming with athletes, it's often the last thing they want to do. And they're media trained, but they're non-professional talent. So it's very hard to crack them in a short time, and we needed them to be relaxed and into it straight away. So some conscious planning went into it. There was stuff on making sure we were pairing up the right athletes together as well, like a balance of things. And that was a balance of states and positions and sizes and personalities and all that sort of stuff as well. But then we layered that on top with ways of kind of just making them relax as quick as we could.
That kind of answers some of my main question that I had for today was what was the choice between by Hamilton Island? That makes sense there. But was there also like a tourism partnership with Queensland Tourism or anything like that as well?
No, Hamilton Island were a partner. They were. I mean, they definitely helped on aspects of it for sure. Definitely, and staff and venues and that sort of stuff for sure. Not so much Tourism Queensland. Season 2, people. Yeah.
It's just interesting to me to see how many partnerships there are to make something like this work.
Yeah. There were a few. I mean, obviously, Woolies came on board, which is great. That really helped with Rexona because it is they are a brand that needs to sell cans, and so that was a great partnership. AIS came on board; they really helped with the performance side of things as well. And then we had a number of equipment partners and all that sort of stuff as well. But quite sort of lean for a project of that size, I think, in terms of that. And obviously, Rexona's behind all of it, really.
I'd love to talk to a partnerships person and just see what their workflow is in understanding that, because I think that's, obviously without the money, the show doesn't get made at all. And it's not just, what I'm learning from you talking now, it's not just Rexona, the key partner. It's all these smaller partners as well that want to have buy-in, and how are you like catering to their needs as well? It must be quite a tricky part of the process.
Yeah, there's a bit of work that goes into that, but pretty light for this one in the scheme of, I think, some other shows.
Am I correct that I heard it was 4 days shooting?
Yes, correct.
That seems insane. 4 days for 6 episodes.
8 episodes. Yes.
8 episodes.
Yes, correct. Yes, that's the look Rondi gave us as well. Yeah.
So even the production company were like, "This is fucked, man."
I don't know if they use the word fuck.
What's the corporate equivalent? This is ambitious.
The scope is ambitious.
Yeah, everybody knew it was ambitious going into it, but it was the realities, right? Like there was no options
because
on
of
that.
As you said, there's only 4 days that they're available.
Yeah,
wow.
That was it. Because when you think across those codes,
of the days?
Not that bad, actually, to be honest. I mean, I think I'm not sure how much we hit overtime, but detailed minute by minute schedule that ran throughout the day for sure.
It was a very, very efficient production approach for sure.
Well, I was looking at one of the drone shots of the challenges. Sorry to use the words challenges again, but I was just looking at how many camera people are in the shot there, and there was like 4 camera guys on sticks, and then there was 1 roaming on handheld, and there was a drone in the sky. So that's 6 camera people that I was aware of on each of those things. So the camera team must have been massive. When I look at that, I think the data wrangler's job that day must have been insane.
Yeah.
But some shows are more than that. How many camera people do you think you had in full?
I think there was...
Because you also have the break-off teams as well.
Yeah, so I think there was 6 main units, a slow-mo unit, a drone unit.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that was it.
And the stabilised head guy.
Yeah, and the hot head guy, yeah.
GoPros and hot heads and
there was a team of like editors and data wranglers basically working on stuff straight away.
That's so good though to see all those people working.
Yeah. Oh, and Fox Sports, the Fox Sports guys were amazing. We used them quite a bit to shoot some of the action as well. So
and me.
Oh, and with an iPhone at the finish line.
On the iPhone,
There was a couple of moments where, you're trying to cover so much action. There's 3 teams, there's multiple athletes running around. There was a rivals test that was really, really important, and it came down to the wire, and I suddenly realised we had no finish line camera. So I sprinted over with my iPhone and took the video.
Yeah, lucky you bought that iPhone Pro, dude. Finally got a run.
That's why.
Finally got one run.
100% deduction, thank you.
Question, which we've prepped you for. If you had an extra $100,000 per episode, we normally tell people $100,000 per project because this is so many episodes.
Yeah.
Where would have you spent it?
$800K. Look, it's hard to say. I mean, we couldn't have more shoot days.
Yeah.
You're very limited on what you can bring to the island anyway. I would have loved to have bigger challenges, but lead times and the fact we're on Hamilton Island, where you've got to literally ship everything in, meant I'm not sure we could have done, anything too much crazier. It's hard to say. I don't know. There's, creativity is sometimes limited by boundaries, right? I would love to have used commercial music. I'm a sucker for great music.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some good music, but it's library music. I would have loved to have spent a shit ton of money on some really good music. Maybe a bit more on graphics and measurement. I think in hindsight would have been good about how we're sort of measuring the challenges and kind of conveying them. But other than that, we had so many limitations. I'm not sure you could. You know what I mean? Like, we're bound by other things.
Time and locations were the number one limiting factors, not necessarily budget.
And it wasn't like we had an unlimited budget by any means as well. But we certainly, I think we did very good for the budget we had. It's just we are limited by a bunch of stuff. But I'll take the 800.
I'll throw mine in.
Tell me.
I think in terms of the rivals test, having at least 1 or 2 more areas that we could have gone to. We were on the lawn lots of times. So that was great. And when we went away from the lawn, it was really good. Could we have somehow structured so we had a couple more tests that were being built on another part of the island that we could still fit in? I think that would have been an interesting way of freshening it up without necessarily going beyond those parameters of time and location.
No, you're right, and I'm going to change my answer
to mine.
That's right. I think we're done here. I've got it. Yes, we would have got helicopters and we would have done the beach sprints on Whitehaven. That's what we would have done. We looked at Whitehaven, we looked at a whole bunch of different locations, and we were bound by time and money. So, but Whitehaven with 20 helicopters would have been amazing, right? That's the top 10 beach in the world. Yeah. I mean, the beach sprints were good, but we'd be doing things like that for sure.
I'm going to jump in because I know as a DP where I would have spent an extra $100,000, and I think it's better cameras. I know looking at that, a lot of Australian TV is shot on Sony FX6 or Canon's. Great camera, awesome camera. There's a reason why it is pretty much the Toyota Corolla of cameras. It does everything. I feel like it's good, but it's not great. I would have liked to see it be shot on a Burano. Sony Burano is just a slightly higher end camera and just a really nicer look, because especially
can the Buranos handle that kind of
run and gun sort of style?
Or the kind of the post workflow of a TV show.
100%. Yeah. It's so Australian TV used to be shot on Sony F5s, Sony F55s, and then the FX6, FX9s came out. Everyone who was an owner-op went to FX6s because they were so cheap. It's a $10,000 camera.
Just to be clear, are you going to recommend any cameras that aren't Sony branded here?
Well, Australian TV is Sony. Australian TV is classically Sony. But I think it's just one of those things. I sort of look at Australian TV at the moment and I'm like, everything's FX6, great camera, but there's really not the quality of the F5s, F55s that we used to use. And they used to use bigger lenses the Canon, awesome Canon 17-120 zooms. Now we're using stills lenses on Australian TV. I would like to see all the owner ops in Australia move back up to Burano or, the higher end cameras that are just a bit nicer. And especially when you look at for this series, you're shooting outside on Hamilton Island, you're shooting all day, every day outside. The camera quality really starts to notice. You start to notice it when it's full sun on people's faces. I think that's the thing. And also I feel like Australian TV, we just don't have the budget to put a lot into post-production. Like the color grade on Australian, reality TV is quite often like, a banging out Rec 709 sort of look. Whereas you look at American programs, like the American sports programs, and they look stunning. Like I used to shoot Countdown for UFC, and we shot that all on red. Yeah. All on red Gemini, and it was like not that much more expensive. But the color grades that come out from that show, you're like, damn, this looks amazing.
I miss the red days, actually.
Oh, man.
That's great.
Really who doesn't? The data wranglers.
Yeah. Well, actually, Ethan, if you shoot 4K on a red Gemini at 10:1 compression ratio, it's less than the FS7 on 4K. So
there we
everyone
go.
screams,
okay.
But
That's for the D.O.P side of the podcast.
I'm going to change my answer again. I'm going to go with a bit of yours as well. Yes, specialty cameras. Yeah. Thinking about it. I would have loved to have we had one slow-mo and we had one, almost tracking. Yeah. It would have been better to have a grip there, rig up a little golf buggy. And then also it would have been good to have, at least one or two more slow-mos, one on each team. So, yes, I'm going to take a bit of your answer and a bit of your answer.
Our consulting invoice will be coming through.
I think just sorry to go back to it, the general public doesn't really care or they don't notice. Like I asked my wife, I'm like, I'll ask her, I'm like, look at this show. Do you think it looks good? She's like, yeah, it looks fine. I think most people don't care, but when I look at shows, I'm like, if only there was a bit more color grade, or like even with like when they are running on the smaller cameras or the cheaper cameras, if they had enough budget to like for more data wrangling, so that the codec that they're shooting on is a higher end codec, allowing for more depth in the image.
Basically, you'd spend the extra $100,000 per episode just on hard drives.
Oh man, honestly, I totally would if it meant
in 2026 that's 3 hard drives.
But if you were locked into say you're locked into FX6s, I know that they're probably not running the highest bit rate on those FX6s. Yeah. Spend more money on data, spend more money on the color grade. You have a better looking show.
I am going to move more broad. Okay, go, Mac.
You're not going to like this. I would rather have a more natural performance if that meant shooting on an iPhone.
Yeah, that's fair
so in
enough.
our situation, and I'm not necessarily with rivals, just in general, like to be able to the less, if I don't know how big the Burano thing
it's right
is.
there. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's our A camera.
I'm a big
fan. For people watching at home, you definitely do notice a big difference between that.
I'm glad you have it on the gas. I appreciate it. So in this one, we wanted the athletes to relax, right? So whether or not the FS6 versus that would have made any difference, I'm not sure. But I would take natural, authentic, relaxed thing shot on 8th iPhone. In some situations.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really valid point.
Okay, let's move more broadly. I want to know a little bit about the role of an EP in this world of brand entertainment. Like what's kind of going on beyond rivals in your landscape at the moment?
There's definitely some interest in it. We did a panel up at Screen Forever a month or two back. I think everybody's looking at it because it's for funding, right? Yeah. So budgets are being cut. Shows that were commissioned before aren't being commissioned. They're doing, reusing formats, all that sort of stuff. New shows are struggling to get dollars. So I think people are definitely looking at it out of interest. It's a hard thing to do, particularly depending on the brand. You have to have the right brand and your idea has to be bang on, otherwise the whole thing falls apart. So I think there's interest. I'm just not sure how successful it can be as a broad application, if that makes sense. It's not going to replace funding across every single show that everybody's trying to get up at the moment or used to be able to get up a few years ago. I think it's a very specialised use case. So that would be my only sort of watch out on it.
I'd love to go back in time a little bit and ask you about your time running a production company. What do people not understand about what it takes to be a founder, an MD, an owner of an independent production company?
Right. It's funny. It's like I was chatting to somebody about it the other day. I was thinking of starting their own business. It's hard to express it unless you've done it. It's a mate of mine a few years back was a marketing director of some big Aussie companies, wanted to start his own agency, and he described it the best way I've ever heard described. He left and started a small creative agency. Him and a mate of his, always his dream. And I spoke to him after about 6 months and said, "How's it going?" He said, "Oh my fucking God." He said, yeah, and he likened it to writing a line. I said, "Writing a line? What do you mean?" He said, like, it's everybody looks at you and goes, "Oh my God, he's writing a line. That's amazing. That's incredible. He's writing a line." You're on the line going, "What the fuck am I doing writing this line? Why did I think this was a good idea in the first place?" Nobody should write a line. And that's probably the best way to describe it, I could say, is that there's just stuff the whole time. There's some amazing stuff, but there's
writing a line.
You're writing a line. Yes, exactly.
Because you obviously started Milkmoney yourself, you built it up, and then you ended up selling it.
Yep.
How long was Milkmoney your baby for before you sold it?
Probably about 8 years, I reckon.
Okay, so that's a big chunk of your life. It's also something that is deeply entwined with your standing in the world, how you see yourself, who you are in the public space, what you say when you meet people at parties. When you sell that company and you no longer have a job, what was that? What was that feeling? What was that feeling? Was there an identity? Obviously you're stoked about selling it and whatever that is, but when you come out from it, was there a period of time where you're like, "Who am I?"
Well, I stayed on for 5 years afterwards, so it was a more gradual transition out of it, if you like. And we still had a bit of the company for a while there in as part of the thing. So it wasn't sort of like a clean exit. I'm done. Okay. Did it change identity? I don't think so. I never really considered Milkmoney to be me. It was a sum of everybody who was there, including Heath. So I didn't feel like my identity was so much. It wasn't me. I would hate to think that anybody thought Milkmoney was Matt Taylor for sure. So
they thought it was your shirts.
Yeah, it's all about the fashion.
And once you leave that company, you said you got the 5 years. Is there then a non-compete sort of agreement?
Oh, I will tell you the ego one, or the dealing with identity. So I had a non-compete. And did about 6 months of yoga and surfing and everything. It was lovely, but there got a point I was like, I've got to do something, but I couldn't produce, direct, or do anything that competed. So I actually became a grip. And it was an interesting process. At 50 odd, I was a grip assistant, so lowest of the low on the grips, and I loved it. But at the same time, I had to read a call sheet. I had to park so far away.
Oh, dude,
I had to go get the coffees.
No one reads the call sheets. You don't have to do that.
No, but in my level, you don't at our level, right? You phone up and say, "Where am I parking?" Someone will tell you. Yeah. I can't phone anyone, right? There's no one will answer my door. They're like, why the fuck are you calling me, you grip assistant? But I loved it. I love being on set. Yeah. I love the process of what we do. But that was an identity. That was my identity thing. If you want one, it wasn't the milk thing. It was doing that. But to be honest, I got to be a grip on set, and it was bloody fun, and I loved it. And all, the fact I didn't have parking right at the front it took just a heartbeat to get used to. But I was the guy going to get the coffees. Yeah. But you know what? I got to go get coffees and not worry about the overtime we're doing.
That's the best thing,
you could see as the overtime conversation started, because I knew the process, I could see it going from production manager to producer, producer to thing. I'd be going, yes, overtime.
We'll wrap it up now, but before we do, it's the moment where we hand over to the guests to ask their questions.
Yes.
You didn't prepare your answer for the $100,000 question, but did you prepare your questions?
I have got a question. Yes. And this is something that's interested me over many years of production, right? There's a lot of chaos and change in the industry right now. AI, budgets being slashed, streamers now getting live sports rights. There's a lot of chaos at the moment. I always thought there's opportunity in chaos and opportunity in change. What are you guys seeing as the opportunities from your lenses of your roles as a director, as a D.O.P? What are you seeing as the opportunities, and what are you doing in 5 years?
I think the way I view this is, like, Milkmoney, and when I came into the industry, was an opportunity of change and chaos, right? Because there was an opportunity there to do things with brands, entertaining and telling stories, and there's been a consistent approach to change that whole entire time. I think over the previous years in the industry, it felt like we landed somewhere for a period of time, like for 6 months or for 9 months. We'd land in a situation and we'd all do something for that time, and then we'd evolve again.
Yeah.
At the moment, it feels like no one's landing anywhere, and it's just like no one knows what. Like it's just different things every day. No one knows what channels are working apart from YouTube. Where are the opportunities? I would say that it's about storytelling, right? It's about talent and storytelling. Can you connect to audiences through a story, and can you connect to audiences through talent? And that talent may be talent that they know, or it may be real people. And I think that's where the rise of things like YouTube and kind of podcasts is, if creating an identity and a talent first and connecting a story to it is still the most important thing. It's just that those things are now in very different spaces to where they were before.
So where's the opportunity?
Yeah. Where's the other? Launching a podcast. Look, I think, where is the opportunity? To be honest, I don't know. I think everyone's quite scared at the moment. And, I think I'm scared about macroeconomics, about AI, about kind of like changing relationships between clients and agencies and production companies. I think that's in a really difficult place at the moment. Yeah, I'm not sure. To be honest. This is probably not the inspiring, upbeat answer that the audience is after, but I'm not sure.
Yep.
Well, if I am sure, I'm not telling you on this.
I think the opportunity is in letting go of the ego, saying, okay, this is not what it is anymore. I might not have the big budget TVC, thing that's going to be. I might be more on the content end. But the skills I know, or the skills that we know as DPs, the content still needs to look fucking awesome. And as if that's the way forward, if that's the way that it's going to be, you still need to use those same skills. And they're like, the money doesn't disappear. The money just goes to a different place. And when I look at AI, it's like I haven't really jumped into the AI debate. We've talked about it. You know where I stand on it. I choose not to talk about it at the moment. But people are going to look to real people, because that's essentially at the soul of why we consume what we consume. And whether that's creators, whether that's smaller form media sort of buy-ins or whatever, it's still got to look good.
I've actually got to build on the top of that. I think
just letting go of the ego and just being like, all right, that's what's happening right now.
Yep.
That's what we're doing.
What's working. Yeah.
I think the opportunity is in format and consistency. I think this is the growth of podcasts, right? You know when your favorite episode's coming out. I think it's about having something that if you build a format that people like, or you're a character that people like, people want to be able to consume your content the same way we used to consume our favorite TV shows. Yeah. This TV show was on this day. I can sit down and watch this sport on this day. I think it's almost taking that model of programming but bringing it down to more of a brand or a content creator lens, but still keeping that programmatic, we need to have stuff out all the time. I think that's where the opportunity is. So you can have those long conversations and connections with people.
Yep.
I think there's going to be more advertising made each year. It's just where it ends up.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to wrap it up because Matt needs to go and my laptop's about to run out of battery. So if that's not the end for a low-budget production in Studio Brennan, I'm not sure what it is. But Matthew Taylor, thank you so much for coming on. We'll have you on again in season 2 or beyond, and you can outshirt me on that one.
Oh, damn it, I will. Missed opportunity. Thank you, gentlemen. Enjoy.
You're going to get back to us to say legal didn't approve this because my shirt's not good enough.
Can we do something?
Brilliant. Thanks for watching The Breakdown. Okay, welcome to Gear Chat, where normally I kind of tune out a little bit and Liam talks about like lenses and cameras and all those sorts of things. But I believe today, Liam, that I should perhaps stay a little bit more engaged.
Well, when we first started this, you assumed that I was going to be talking about cameras and lenses, but we've talked about a lot of different things because the more I research into this, I'm always looking at different things. There's actually so much amazing stuff that's happening in our industry that's outside of cameras and lenses. And I think this is really simple, and I'm so surprised it hasn't been done before. So Cadrage and Artemis, which are the two main apps that we use for recce's, for shot design. They are, anyone who's not a DP or a director, Cadrage, Artemis, they are, you use your iPhone or whatever phone you've got, and you can you can put in the camera and the lens size that you're intending to shoot on, and you can pretty much do a pre-visualization of the shoot you want to do in your phone with the lens sizes. It's a very good way of doing previses for your work. But another app that we use is called Sunseeker, which is where we will go and use, it will show you depending on the time of day, where the sun will be in the sky. So usually on a recce, we're using Cadrage or Artemis, shooting our shots, and then we'll pull out our phone again and do a sun seeker visualization of the sky, and then talk to the first AD and say, okay, we want to shoot this shot at this time of day, blah, blah, blah. Something that's amazing is Cadrage and Artemis, the two main lensing apps, have now incorporated a sun finder in their apps. So it just means one less app to open, quicker recce's, smoother recce's. It's one thing that we have to look at instead of multiple apps. I think it's amazing. Super simple. Great.
Yeah,
great.
It's really good because when you're on recce, they're kind of the two, well, there's, assuming you've done a location scout, you've chosen the location for narrative reasons. When you're on a recce, when you're on the tech recce, the two things you're looking at are like, where is the light going to be and what is the shot I'm going to take? Yeah. And so to your point, like Sunseeker and Cadrage would be the two things that I would use like consistently. I used to use Artemis, then I switched back over to Cadrage because I found it a little bit easier to use. But to now have that Sunseeker ability inside those apps is pretty crazy. The only thing I wonder is like, is it going to stitch us up when the schedule changes? Because you like, this is going to be a morning scene, and then suddenly you go back to the AD comes back and says, well, we can't do that in the morning now. There's actually going to be an afternoon scene, or like whichever way it moves, and suddenly got a sun in the middle of your lock-up shot.
I mean, it's going to be a stitch up if that happens anyway. But I think there's a world where I think using it as a director's viewfinder, right, as a pre-visualization tool. Instead, you can have that overlay of the sun in there. You can find your shot depending on where the sun is and everything. And then I imagine you're just going to be able to turn the sun off and then take the shot, right? So it just means instead of getting tied into a shot already and then pulling out Sunseeker and being like, oh, no, it's not going to work because of the sun.
What's interesting to me is that both companies announced it at the same time. Are they owned by the same company or something?
I'm not sure what the situation is there.
Bought into another. Anyway,
maybe it's competition. Like if your competition is doing something, you're like, well, I better get onto that. Yeah,
that's good. That was good. I think one hack. This is a director tip for up and coming directors when it comes to Cadrage. You can go in and put a look on your photos.
I did not know that, dude.
Yeah, it's life changing. Because you're taking, rather than this like shitty little iPhone, you can go and put a LUT on, and all of a sudden it's only like 4 predetermined LUTs in there or something. But instantly you're like, oh, now I can start to see how this is actually going to feel like. Yeah. So there's a little hack. Put your LUT on your Cadrage shots. How did you feel about the conversation with Mr. Matthew Taylor?
Man, it was like I always say with every guest. I'm like, oh, it was really good. Yeah. But I only know Matty socially. Yeah. I'd never really known him at Milkmoney. No. Obviously you had. So today, and also I haven't ever worked with him either. So today was a really good eye-opening thing for me as to like, what his story is and what the process for that show is as well. So I haven't really worked in reality stuff either, especially not a branded forced reality stuff. So it was super interesting. Was it good to catch up with him again?
It was great. It was great. It was a bit annoying. My laptop ran out of battery and he had another meeting to go to because I feel like we could have been sitting on for another half an hour. But we'll definitely have to get him back on when he can just wear his array of shirts. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm interested to see what he does next. We didn't even get into really talking about that. So, maybe we'll have to have a poll up soon and we get the audience to vote for which guest they want back first. Because we're all about the polls.
What if they vote you and me off the island?
Oh, guest host. Yeah, man, who knows? If we take holidays to Europe or something now, we'll have to get guest hosts.
Yeah, they're like, we don't want Ethan.
The problem with getting a
Liam
guest host in is like, you could get someone in to do my role. Probably not as well, but I can't do all this.
No, you can't. He can't do all this. Yeah,
brilliant.
If it makes it any better, I don't want to do all this. I would love for someone else to be setting up the cameras.
Once again, thank you so much for listening / watching to the director and the D.O.P. Please let us know if there's any guests that you think we should have on. We are having some guests recommended to us. So reach out to someone you think we should be talking to. We'd love to kind of expand our horizons if there's anyone you think we should be chatting to. But that's it. Another episode in the bag.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Brilliant. Thanks for watching / listening. Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye.